Okay. So he's gonna go into his crate now. I don't know if you noticed, but he's not wearing a collar. He's obviously going over there because he doesn't want to go. But he'll go anyways, right? Come, house. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Did you super duper do good? Yeah. Oh, goodness. What a good boys you is, huh? What a good boys. Oh, my goodness. Oh, goodness. Good. Steph? Now, how did we go from fighting to getting him to go in on his own? First, we started with place, right? And we used the e-collar to teach him place. So when he hears the word place, the collar turns on, and if he wants it turned off, he has to go into place. So he got that pretty much by the 6th or 7th time, practiced it a couple more times, and then brought it over here to the crate. So he heard the word crate, and he knew what to do, and he went right in. And really didn't have to use the collar on him, except maybe once to go into the crate, just a little vibrate just to remind him. Been really good about it ever since. And then once he goes in there, I just give that little moment to him, you know. He really wants it. So he's really working for that, and it's calmed him and settled him down in the crate as well. He used to pant quite a bit more. He was never like out of hand, you know, just panted a bit and drooled. So sometimes his blankets would be pretty wet. So now I have to pretty much do the same thing to the car, which we're going to do a little bit later, and just change his association, the way he feels about the car. Good boy. Oh my goodness, good. Here. Oh, no. At least you're trying, huh? At least you're trying. Want to do again? Right here. Oh, good boy! Good boy! Boy. Good. Break. Oh. You want to do again? Ready? Hop. Oh, try again. Come on. No. Easy. Hop. Okay, break. Good. Okay. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Oh, good job. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. Good boy. Break. If he's coming out already, I'm just gonna break. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? No, don't eat that. There's a blanket he's trying to bite. Oh, good boy! Good boy. Yeah, if he's already on his way out, I'm just gonna say break because I'm not gonna argue about that. This is you. Come on, you did so good. Good. You want to do again? You want to do again? Busy stuff. Yeah, I'll work on getting him to stay after. I just want to change the association of going in. Whew. You're a handful, you biscuit. You want to do again? Good. Oh, need help. Oh, I couldn't do that before. I couldn't help him. He'd start trying to go ahead. Good. So what it is because of his association. He sees this. He sees going in the crate. There's certain other things, like if he steals something he's not supposed to have. I think what happened was the people were impatient with him, and they would go after him, chase him around, try to take it forcefully put him in the car, forcefully get him in the crate. And so when you open the crate door and he sees that you're coming, you try to grab his collar, he starts to get a little stressed out, and that's when he'll growl, he'll tease, he'll get mouthy. I don't know if he's actually bit his owners. I do know he bit the woman that had him for a couple days because she was at the dog park. He got into a fight with another dog. I don't know what the circumstance was, but he was way stressed out, way anxious, and she brought him directly to the dog park from the dog park. Break. Or just do that. So he gets into a fight. She's trying to leave the dog park and he won't get in the car, so she tried to pick him up and put him in. He bit her. And then she took him directly to the vet. He was very stressed out at the vet, not behaving well at the vet. Understandably. One of the things they do, put him on a scale or a table, is sometimes this elevates itself. Are you going to go in? Yeah. Good boy. Good job. You know, you got to tell him to get on it, or you got to pick him up if it doesn't elevate and put him on it. And that's the kind of thing he would stress out about. All right. Oh, great. Here. Oh, come on. You can do it. Oh, you want help? Go. Good boy, you fat dog. Fat dog. Oh. And of course, we'll take him for rides. He was good in the car once he was in there. So I think he rather enjoys it, especially looking out the window and stuff. So we'll take him to the park. You know, he's probably, if he's that bad to put in the car, probably only gone to the vet and places like that. So nothing that he really wanted to do. So that'll help too, change the association. plus Eddie will be with us. And Eddie exudes his calm feelings about the car and his enjoyment. You did very good. Break. Break. Overall, does he resource guard? Not really. No, he doesn't guard food. If he's found something and picked it up, like he was just chewing on this, so let's see. I don't know if it's into the ground. No. See, if I tell him no, he leaves. No. Good. And actually, you gonna go up? No. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. Good job. There's a sponge over there. I told him no. He tried to pick it up a few days ago, and every time we come out here, he goes over to the sponge, smells it, and walks away. He doesn't pick it up anymore. So it seems like when you tell him something once, you know, if he gets corrected for it especially, then he stops. He doesn't try to do that again. As far as like he picked up tissues, I tell him to drop. He did kind of at me once, but I just stood my ground and said, no, drop it. Stood over him, and within 10 seconds he dropped and walked away. Oh. He puked in his kennel. Sit. Good boy. Puked in his kennel. And so, you know, I heard him. I go over, I open his door, I go to get paper towels and stuff. So he came out of his kennel, but he started eating it. So I go back over to the kennel with the paper towels. Suddenly he's like, oh, he's going for my puke. It's so tasty. And he came over like he tried to cut me off, like he was going to sort of guard it, you know. And I just told him no, and I made him back away from the crate. He backed away, and when I went to go like pick up the blankets and stuff, he came back again. I said no, back. And then he backed away and just let me do it. So if you know the things that are going to cause him to kind of stress, like, oh no, don't take my puke. If you know that's what he's going to do, then you just move him away and make him stay away. Because if he doesn't have possession of it, he can't guard it. But in my opinion, it's not really guarding. It's again that lack of patience that I think, not understanding how to deal with a dog like this, you know. And so trying to just nab stuff, and then when he sees you coming and he knows he's got something, and he sees you coming and he knows you're going to take it, he starts to stress out. You did very good. You know that? Okay, break. Break. Hold on. You did so good. Okay, gonna bait him with some stuff. No, drop. Got the right one. Drop. So I don't use the e-collar for that. And then he sits. Good. And that wasn't a growl, that was just, he kind of snores. Here. Good. Tissues. I think he's kind of on to us. Did one of you guys fart? No. Can't go down there, you stay here. No, here. Good. See how the markers get his attention? He hears the word no, he's like, oops. Oh, he got it. Drop. No, drop. So he's gonna try to bury his face between my legs. Drop. No, drop. Drop. No. Being stubborn on that one. Ready, drop. I'm letting him pick it up just to test. But he's not resource guarding, right? Like if, I'll show you. Sit. Good. So he doesn't stiffen up, you know. I could pet him while he's eating. He just keeps eating. He doesn't get still or stiff or growl or anything like that. Yeah, I can stand right in front of him. There's no reason for me to put my hand in his bowl. That's just stupid. I would never do that. I would make the dog move out of the bowl or drop the item rather than try to take it. It's more effective if it's their idea. Out. It's empty, but still. No, out. Good. So you got vibration corrections for those. Normally I'm gonna put bait objects down. Gotta get a new tissue. Bait objects down. And then have my correction ready. Yeah, I'll walk him past it. If he tries to go for any of the objects, he's avoiding him. You see how far around he went? Come. Yeah, he's avoiding him. And so, like I said before, now that he's been dealt with because of his sock and a piece of tissue, he avoids them. So he may not want to go pick those up again. So that problem could be solved. And really, it would just take some repetition. Like if I'm not paying attention, and he sees that, he may seize the opportunity to get it. And so sometimes I'll just leave him around and kind of act like I'm not paying attention. Always Johnny on the trigger finger, right? Because I need to catch that exact moment. I can't, like if it's down here like this and I got to pick it up and go, oh, where's the button? There it is, you know. So, good boy. Very good. Put a few more tissues down. You know, I could, kind of have food tissues, wipe my mouth with them or something so that they haven't. He's like, I'm out. I'm checking out, man. And he's avoiding. Good. Good. Here. Come on. He's taking the wide way around, huh? Good. Let's see, what did I do about here? There you go. You can have that. You can have that ready. Catch. Great catch. Good job. Good boy. Good boy. So give him something he can have. Can't have that. Can't have that. No, I won't bother him for a while unless he goes for those tissues. Oh, good job. Okay, so I've been in the bathroom. Just wanted to let you know. While I was in the bathroom, he came over here to check on me a couple times. Let's see. Avoided the tissues in the sock. And he's still playing with the toy. Good boy. Good boy. What you got? You got something? You got something? Oh my goodness, what a good boy. You super duper got something, huh? You super duper got something. See, if he was like a resource guarder, he'd be lifting his lip and growling right now because I'm got a camera right in his face. Huh? Good boy. Good boy. Yes, you did so good, huh? Good job. Good boy. Okay, so he's going in now. And these are all still here. He can't bring that in his kennel. I don't let him have toys like that in the kennel. They can have bones, but nothing that they'll possibly swallow. House? Good boy. Good. Sit. Good job. Did you do super duper good? Yes, you did, huh? He's a super duper good boy, huh? Good. Okay. Ironically, this came on my feed, and that's pretty much what Luca's like. And the way these people act is typical, and pretty much what I predicted is what happened at his past home. Maybe a little bit different. People tend to get frustrated and aggravated with a dog that acts like this. These people, they know they're on camera, even though they pretend that they don't know they're on camera. There's obviously camera people in the house, and they know it. So they're probably on their best behavior, but people tend to get aggravated. And when a dog, I call this Tasmanian devil syndrome. Nobody really has a name for it, but that's what I call it. So when the dog starts jumping up and getting mouthy, and you start, hey, get off, and you start pushing the dog away, they bounce back harder, and that can actually become aggression. Although this is not aggressive behavior, it's just crazy, excited, anxious behavior. And that's him. And you'll see when Caesar comes in, he like pokes his head down in the window and he starts talking. An aggressive dog would have went out that door. So he's not an aggressive dog, just like with Luca.
A puppy's bad habits put 2 children at risk.
Hey, Whisk!
Very mouthy though, very grabby with the clothes. It's typical.
To my kids.
It's bad.
Hey! He usually bites us, jumps on us.
Can Caesar stop him before he gets worse?
He's biting. And it's
Giving
going to become
affection.
way stronger to the point that they're not going to stop him.
This is Caesar 911. Caesar's next 911 call comes from Sandra, who's concerned about the way her daughter's new puppy is behaving around her grandchildren.
So welcome into my office. So how can I help you?
Well, my daughter have a dog, and we wish to be able to enjoy him, but he's too crazy with my grandchildren. He jump on them.
Get him down that method. Get him down.
Hey, Whisk!
And you know, he have very, very sharp teeth, and he
Hey,
everything
Whisk,
that get
stop.
on his reach,
No.
he's able to tear.
But hey, no!
My
Grabbing
daughter
him
got
right there.
already this big scratch on her face.
So you see, you couldn't really tell, but she grabbed the dog by the collar to pull the dog off the kid. That's a typical response from somebody. And that's the thing that would start to stress him out when he was engaged in something, or he wanted something, or he didn't want to be forced into the car, and you go grab. That's when he would start with the, like, you know, growling or showing the teeth. And it only happens when he's stressed out. So when I went to go put him in the crate in an early part, you know, and I went to go grab the collar, because sometimes I'll just like move forward, you know, I just kind of nudge him. And when I went to go grab the collar, he, you know, and you could see it in his face and his eyes. He was like stressed out, especially when I went at him. He was like, whoa, you know. So that's a big no-no.
And that day, I really got very angry. I said, what if this happened to one of the kids? Now he's being put outside, and it's sad.
And that just
because
makes
he's
it
not
worse.
playing with
That makes it
anybody
worse.
but himself.
Yeah.
My daughter loves dogs. She treats her dogs like babies, and I think she's spoiling this dog.
How old is he?
5 months approximately, and he's big. He's
Lucas,
a
10
puppy,
months.
and he has too much energy. We cannot have control of him.
What breed is he?
Bisla.
Okay. By breed, a Bishla is a hunting dog, and it needs to be challenged. It can live in a home setting, but only if the family take their high energy and fast-moving brain into account.
Hopefully when he matures, he will change, you know, his behavior. But we can't wait
No, he
till,
won't.
oh my God.
No, it won't. That's a big myth. You need to be taught at
Yeah,
this early
he's gonna
age.
grow out
It's
of
like
it.
letting a kid grow up and just misbehave, and somehow he's gonna change when he matures. No, he developed a bad habit.
Right.
I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to tell you this doesn't adjust on its own.
No, it gets
This is one
worse.
of those cases that you can clearly see the bad habit being built. So what will be a goal for you from a grandma point of view?
We want him to be part of the family, you know, where we can enjoy, you know, hug him and, you know, be
Yeah.
close to him.
Then we have to work really hard.
I hope Cesar.
Yeah, not only does it get worse from the things that they've been doing, like keeping him separated, keeping him outside, because this is typically caused by stress, anxiety, and excitement. And so when the dog is kept away and then you let him in, he's excited about you, and then he starts getting excited, jumpy, mouthy, all that stuff, and taking it out on you. And then what do? You put him in his crate, or you put him back outside. And that just makes it worse.
Can help the family learn how to deal with whiskey. Otherwise, there's no other option than giving him away.
Let's go see it.
Caesar heads to dog owners Rocio and Leonardo's home so he can observe live surveillance footage of their interaction with whiskey.
So he's excited, they're reinforcing it with affection. Start doing this and moving
Now he's
away, it just
jumping
draws him in.
to bite their hands. She's still getting affection. I gotta go in. It's pretty bad.
So watch right here.
Stop it. No bite.
No bite. So too passive, way too passive.
Caesar was called by a concerned grandmother whose daughter's family has a Vizsla puppy who's starting to bite. After watching
You're
a
not
live
gonna,
feed
if somebody
of the
tells you,
dog's
oh, you eat
increasingly
cookies to
aggressive
distract,
behavior
that's not gonna
around
work.
the kids, Caesar steps in to talk to the parents.
No bite.
That's pretty bad.
The aggressive dog would have went out that door.
Wow.
He's not
Talk
aggressive.
about negotiation. Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm not.
You should be. You negotiate a lot with this guy. How are you? So, that's right. I got it.
Thank you.
I'm Leonardo Chavez.
And I'm Rocio Chavez.
We have two children, Matthew, about to turn 9, and Victoria, which just turned 4.
I decided to get a dog for our kids, and after doing extensive research on a breed that would be active,
Vizslas are high
yet
energy in my
kid-friendly,
experience.
I found Vizsla, and I thought, perfect. So we got Whiskey, and he was about 8 weeks old at the time, very cute. He had all the puppy wrinkles, the big head with the little body.
Long ears that just covered his face, and actually he would chew on his ears.
Once Whiskey started teething is when the issues began. He'd chew on anything,
That.
including us.
All that behavior is what he was doing. And you saw just a little bit ago, the tissues and everything are still on the floor. That just happened. That's what he was doing. I'm sure when he was a puppy, he was probably much worse, right? And a lot of times they try to make a game out of it because really they're just trying to seek attention. And even though it's negative attention, it's still attention, right? So they get an item they know they're not supposed to have, and they go, haha, come and get me, and they run away, and then like you chase them, and then you grab them, and then you pull it out of their mouth. And then eventually that's what caused him to become stressful, because he knows you're coming at him to take that. And I wouldn't necessarily consider that resource guarding. It's more of a stress reaction.
He would knock down my daughter,
But hey, no.
and his play would get aggressive.
No.
When he jumps on me, he scratches me.
Whisk!
He usually jumps on us, bites us.
At the table with the food,
It's
then
kind
petting
of
them. I know
just
the
chaos
kids.
with him.
I can't even take Whiskey out for a walk.
So he said get down, and then
Terrified
he
he'll fight
didn't
somebody
follow
on
through.
the
He just
street.
jumped on the other couch and kept doing
One
the
time I was
behavior.
trying to train Whiskey to sit, and I got distracted, and in seconds he leaped towards me, bit my lip, and resulted in a pretty bad wound.
It was scary
Okay. I don't believe that's aggression either. I think he was just overly excited, stimulated. She's using food. She stops paying attention to him. He jumps up, gets her with a tooth, and as he's falling, because you could see it came down as he's falling down. That was just one tooth. So he just caught her with a tooth. But they said he becomes aggressive, and that's typically from, hey, stop, get away, no, stop it. And you keep pushing, and then you try to grab the dog, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, why you coming at me, bro? And then they start becoming aggressive.
because I don't want that to happen to me and like anyone else.
No.
No.
It really scared me, and it got me to think about what damage he could do to my kids.
Very, very
My
passive,
daughter especially.
low
I'm
energy,
terrified that
from
one
her
of
at
these
least.
days he's just gonna get her in the face. So because of it, we have kept them outside. You know, my goal of having them bond with a
That's
dog,
bad.
it's not happening at all. It's the complete opposite.
If you have
And if we don't get help now,
if you have a dog that's like this, or that's even territorial, aggressive, and you have trouble having people over, and just you start putting the dog away, and you don't let him around, you don't take him out on walks, you know, because he's a problem, it gets worse. Every time it's going to get worse, and so that is a bad idea.
I'm afraid Whiskey will end up being an outside dog, completely isolated from our family. He's losing out on that, the family that.
Emotional. Instead of being proactive, being emotional about it.
I've
It's not
thought
gonna
about
accomplish
giving
anything.
Whiskey away if it can be an indoor dog.
Right
and
there.
24/7 outside.
No way.
Right there. They thought about giving him away to a farm, or who knows, where he could be outside all the time. So instead of dealing with the issue, because they don't understand, right? And they probably didn't bother to hire a trainer, or if they did, it was probably the wrong trainer that was, distract him with food. But they already said, get rid of him. And that's exactly what happened to Luca. Luca was literally hours from being euthanized. And I, and evaluate him, I'm like, I don't think he's aggressive. That's what I said. I think it's Tasmanian devil syndrome. I said, we'll get him back. We'll see about the resource guarding, if it's bad, and he doesn't resource guard. So it was all a completely wrong diagnosis, right? And they were ready to put him down. He's a 10-month-old golden retriever, 10 months, 5 months older than him. And you could see how it escalated with him, where he actually started to growl and show his teeth, right? They have weak energy, so it becomes, with the dog, like, hey, you're my plaything. I get to jump all over you and use my mouth on you. Now you're gonna try to grab me and you're gonna try to tell me what I'm supposed to do? No, right? So the dog has a standoff with you. He starts showing teeth and whatnot, right? And they blame the dog for it, but it's not the dog's fault. It's just you let it get that far because you gave the dog no rules, no boundaries. You were passive. You came at him with weak energy, and then you tried to give him direction. He's like, I don't have to listen to you. Who are you? It's perfectly understandable, in my opinion, for him to be like that. And it's understandable for him, in his opinion, to be like that, because that's how it is in the dog world. And you got people who are supposed to have, a big brain, and we can read and we can learn and we can think about things like this, and they don't bother, they don't bother to do anything and learn. They just, it's the dog's fault. It's not. And it's a shame, because these are just two cases right here. This happens daily. Dogs get put down for reasons like this, and it doesn't take much to fix.
He's our family. I'm not gonna give up on him.
You already did. You did. I don't know who called Caesar, but
It's beyond excited. This is the excitement that hurts. So when I was looking at the tablet, you're giving affection to this, and that's not healthy. Okay? See, the more you look at him when he's in that state, the more you feed on that. The more you do this, which you did, the more you actually give your space. So he pretty much is in control of everything. 5 months of age. We don't stop it now. It's just gonna continue. Playing, he's a puppy, but he's biting. And his intensity, his determination is gonna become way stronger, to the point that they're not gonna stop him.
That's what happened
You
to him.
guys are keeping him away, and that's how you deal with. His brain will never learn to be any other way, because you're not really teaching anything. You're just putting a pause on things.
Right.
Yep.
It's just Chuck E. Cheese all day long. It's all excitement.
Right.
Whiskey's a dog that has no rules, boundaries, or limitations. The very basics of good dog behavior. The family need to step it up now. The first thing you have to do is present food. So before you even put him around dogs or children, you create impact of respect. So if you can control a dog around food you can control that dog around anything.
Let's do this.
Does it make
Head
sense?
on.
Yeah.
Totally.
So here, yes. There you go. It's not that you are being mean to the dog. A dog needs to learn that he can be in front of these things and he has to come out with a different response. So I'm giving direction. I'm just telling you that this thing, you can't touch it.
You can't touch it, correct?
So if I say that you can't touch this, you can't touch my kid, you can't touch this, you can't touch that. That gives you access to create rules and boundaries.
I try to explain that to people sometimes, that you use the same process as this demonstration that you do in other areas, like he was saying, because touching the kids and jumping on the kids, jumping on them, all that stuff. So you basically just use the same process, and then sometimes, if he does this, then what do I, same thing. This guy right here, he's burrowed under a blanket, but let me get him. So Frankie, pretty much the same thing, right? He, a little bit different, so he's a very dominant dog. He's bitten 5 people in the last year that I know of. One had to get 17 stitches in the inner thigh and got sent to the hospital. The other one I'm not sure, but he also had to get stitches. You want to get down? Okay. Oh boy. But I was told that it takes him a couple of weeks before he shows his behavior. So I says, why don't we have him come in as a boarder and we'll just see what he does. But with all my boarders, I ask them to respect my space, and here there's certain rules that they have to follow. Basically the same thing with him, so I just enforce the rules. You know, I took him in, well, I explained all this before, but I took him in a small crate, put the crate in another crate, let him out, and he seemed fine. I got a leash on him. A little while later, I took him out. He tried to mark on the garbage can, and I just instinctively corrected him, and he was just like, whoa, okay, sorry, didn't mean it. All I did was basically give him boundaries and rules, and I have never seen him lift a lip. He's never growled, he's never showed teeth, he's never even looked at me sideways, and I've never had to, like, you know, use an e-collar to deal with him or to train him in that way, except for the fact that I am training him to, you know, to be with people who have less experience, right? And so it was about 3 weeks before I even put an e-collar on him. And then when I put the e-collar on him, it was just standard stuff and letting him know that there's going to be consequences for your actions. He's territorial, so when people come in, he does act up and he does growl. When I first met him and I was in his space, I went to his house, he was in like a puppy pen, and I squatted down kind of sideways. He jumped up, put his mouth through the bars and bit my shoulder. Just got my jacket, but still, like, we weren't friends in the beginning, you know. But once he got back here, we had to develop our trust and respect relationship, right? If I took him in and let him get away with things, let him do whatever he wanted to, he would have treated me the same way he does everybody else, just like these people at Chuck E. Cheese all the time, right? So if that was the case, and then I try to enforce the rules with him, then he's going to go at you. And from what I've been told, and I hear this a lot, it came out of nowhere for no reason. Just didn't even see it coming, you know. There's always an indication when a dog is going to become aggressive or a dog is going to bite. There's always an indication. They just don't know. They just don't see it. Again, another dog.
To see Caesar put the food in front of Whiskey
Who was
and
gonna
teach
get put
him
down.
to leave it and not touch it. It was amazing. Completely different dog in like less than 5 minutes.
I just want to put you in a situation where you begin to teach, so you're teaching rules. Nothing excites a dog more than food, and Ham has a strong scent. So this challenge is perfect for Rocio, because normally she allows Whiskey's excitement to control the situation. Now, she needs to be the one in control. Let's begin with 1. I want her to do exactly what I did. Put down the container of food right in front of Whiskey and make him understand that it's off limits and he's not allowed to eat it. Simple. He can't come near. You understand? Your energy, your frame of mind is, I'm claiming this. That's your bad habit. See it? So he came and touched it. What do? You move it away. See it? This movement, you moving away. He's moving away. We have to keep the kids in mind.
Yeah.
Which approach?
So, even though he's not really reacting, when it, like the other day when I went to go, touch him here a little bit at me, you know what I mean? I don't do this and move away, because if I do that, I'm pulling the dog into me. I'm making myself a target, right? So what I do is just exactly that. I go just a little bit in towards the dog. Fucking ceiling leaks. That's why I just got dripped on. If I go at him, then he's like, oh, wait a minute, you actually have confidence. I don't usually get that, so now I don't know what to do. And then we just maintain, and I just maintain my, make myself bigger and stare at him until he sits and gives up or moves away. If you back up, then he wins, and he's going to push and push and push every time and get worse and worse and worse.
It's going to be healthy for our children.
Back off.
Yes.
Dogs are
Because the
opportunists.
kids are not going to be thinking about anything.
They're not paying attention.
Whisk.
Whisk. Yeah, no. I mean, obviously he needs to be trained before he
Caesar is teaching
understands.
boundaries to an out-of-control Vizsla puppy who is finding it hard to follow Caesar's
But
instructions.
if he was trained, he would have heard me say no, and he would have backed
Okay.
off of the food. He doesn't understand
We still
yet.
teach.
But dogs are opportunists, so that's why you got to create boundaries,
There you go. So that's the last memory. Okay? That was a sneak attack, but it's actually good that when he does something off limits, I can jump right in with the correction. He's going to go after the food until we establish this boundary. And Rocio needs to teach this to him so she can set all the boundaries in her house full of kids. There we go. Turn around. Put the foot down. Not around. Yeah. Not away. Towards. Yeah.
Hold
down.
it up,
Put it down.
because he's still,
Touch the side. Touch the side. Touch the side.
he's not used to it.
There you
from
go.
her.
There you go.
And
Touch
the
side
element
again.
of surprise is everything. That was weak.
Not yet. He's figuring it out. Okay. Yeah, very good. Go back
Step
to your
towards
position.
him.
So he's still figuring it out.
Yeah.
So he already knows he can't touch it, but he doesn't know that he has to walk away. There you go. That's what you want. I want Rocio to use the food to
A
claim
lot
her
of times
space.
when you
It's
tell
not
a
what you're
dog
saying.
something, you just
only
wait.
get this
Like, you
food
have to
when
be
I say
patient.
so.
Just
Then
wait
they
for them
touch,
to
snaps
to
Whiskey's brain
give him a
out of
chance
his
to do it.
excitement about the food.
You don't have to
She
push
needs to
him
be
or anything like
assertive
that.
as she does this.
If you just wait, move,
There we go. Right.
you wait,
there.
they're gonna move. 95% of
Set
the
it
time.
down.
Okay.
Nice. Touch. Nice. There you go.
So you gotta watch for when he impulses
There you
to
go.
get up, and then you gotta try to catch him
That's
by
right.
surprise.
Just
So come in
relax. That was way better than the first one. You got it. There you go. He's laying down. He can't touch it though. He can't lick it or touch it. That's surrender. How's it feel?
Amazing.
That's right. Because now you're being clear.
See,
and you're
even
teaching your baby, who's a dog, manners.
even with their lack of experience, the dog actually responded pretty okay, considering how bad he was just a few minutes ago, like how all over the place he was, and he never had to deal with rules like that. So he didn't protest, even though she's coming with kind of low energy. He didn't protest the way he did. He's still 5 months old. He's still a baby, but
Correct.
So if you can do that with food, you transfer that to your child.
Yeah. So far, I am feeling so empowered by today's meeting and hopeful.
We have to change the perception of how you love him. You know what I mean? Because he's a baby, which is difficult and challenging for her because for her it was this fairy tale. You know, I want a dog to be raised with my kids, and I want.
yeah, if you don't discipline and teach your dog, then you really don't love them. You know what I mean? Because dogs make horrible decisions, like we just did. They're opportunists. That could have been rat poisoning that he decided to get into. You know, so if you don't teach them things, they're going to make bad decisions. They're going to run into traffic, you know. And so sometimes that requires discipline. And dogs are typically drawn to the disciplinarian. They want their approval, affection, and attention. And so a lot of people think, well, the dog's not going to like me. Not true. They usually are drawn to it. Some dogs are very like timid, and you don't really need to be as harsh with them. You know, it all depends on the dog. It's not up to us to determine what the dog finds aversive. It's up to the dog. And so I use e-collars a lot, and that's why, because if you're dealing with somebody who lacks experience, and it's hard to change a person's personality. She's got a soft energy. She's very like affectionate and loving and all that stuff. So it's hard to change their personality and make her into somebody who's more fierce, you know what I mean? And so pushing a button makes it a lot easier. If you can say no and push a button, then you've got control of the dog. You know, you just got to teach him what all that means first, and then you can use it for anything. Drinking out of the toilet, no, you know. You don't have to go in there, hey, no, get out of there, get out of there, you know, and fight with the dog to get him out of the toilet. So, and then the dog goes, oh, she said no, toilets are off limits. And that's why I use the e-collar and I teach markers. Yes, you did the right thing, a reward is coming. Good, you did the right thing, no reward. And no, you're doing the wrong thing. Whatever it is, you need to stop right now. And that way, when I say no, it's typically in the beginning going to be followed by a correction, no correction, no correction. And then I'm going to say no, and the dog's like, oh, okay, and just walks away. You know, so it really doesn't take that much work, especially if you got a puppy. You know, and you don't necessarily have to use an e-collar, you know what I mean? You just a little leash correction or some type of touch correction, some type of correction. But you can't let them push and become like that, because again, three examples right here of dogs that we're gonna get, you know, put down or given away.
I teared up today because I realized that it's been me that's been doing things wrong the whole time, and I have to change that.
So discipline is the bridge from goals to success. That's how you get to the next level. You need structure.
How do I?
You have to come to the ranch. I'm starting to see
Okay,
Rocio's confidence change with whiskey. Her bigger it.
The rest of this is they do agility work and take him on walks and stuff to drain his energy, which is typical in this case. So, you know, whatever exercise that you can give to a dog, if they play fetch, then you can use that. You know, if they like walking, if you're a runner, you take them running. If it's a little bit difficult, but if you could teach them to follow you on a bike, you have to be really good at listening and staying in heel, because you can't be riding a bike and then have them veer off and chase a squirrel. But anything that you could do to drain their energy. Swimming is huge. That'll drain a dog's energy. I used to play fetch at the lake, and I would throw the ball in the lake, and the dogs would swim out and bring it back. And they would sure get tired after a while of doing that, and they loved it. So it was like they didn't even want to quit until they were half dead, you know. And they did it even in pretty cold weather too. They didn't care. They loved it. But with Luca, he's definitely much better. If I take him on like a 2-mile walk, he's good the rest of the day. He's much easier to deal with. He's much chiller. But in general, his anxiety has gone way down just from rules. And you can basically disagree with anxiety when it comes to a dog. You know, if you put them in the kennel and they start stressing out, you can just say no, right? And you put spatial pressure on them until they settle down. Or you can, you know, I train place, and then I teach them to be calm in place, and then I roll it over into the kennel. And so when they get a correction in the kennel, they know what it means. But if you can bring that anxiety down, and you can bring that excitement down, and you can bring their just energy level down, much easier to deal with. And that's why it's usually so quiet in here. When I get a new dog, it may take them a day or two before they figure it out. And of course, they're getting used to the routine. So like these guys, I could tell they're used to getting up at 5 a.m. and we don't get up at 5 a.m. A lot of my clients are in the evening, and so my schedule is typically later. You know, I don't get up till 8:30, and then we start. You know, we don't do anything until after my coffee, so we don't start even going out until about 9 o'clock. So that's when they go out and they eat. And after 2 or 3 days, they get pretty used to that, so they stop stressing out, because usually when I put my shoes on, Eddie gets out of bed because he knows we're going out, and they hear his toes go across the floor, and then everybody starts to perk up. But in the beginning, they stress out, you know. And in order to quiet down, I have to use the pressure and get them to understand that we don't allow that here. So bring down the anxiety. Don't cause excitement. That's a huge mistake. Where I got him from at the pound, all the people that work there, they cause excitement with all the dogs, you know. I actually brought him back from a walk, and as soon as we got back, oh my God, Luca. Like, no. First of all, he's gonna start getting all grabby with me, so don't do that to me, you know. But you can't do that, especially in an environment like that. That dog is gonna get excited enough as it is, just because he's out, you know, just because he's back, just because he sees somebody he knows, you know. That's really the one area that I'm having the most trouble with him right now, is if we go on a walk and he sees somebody, he thinks that, you know, oh, we gotta go see that person, we gotta jump all over that person. And it's because his hair is so darn long and thick that I'm having trouble getting consistent corrections and consistent levels, because I'm not making good contact with the e-collar. So I'm probably going to have to shave down a little bit on the side here so I can get more consistent contact until he's taught. I like to teach them to the point where they know that there's a consequence, and then I can warn them with the vibration, and then it becomes typically all I ever have to do is use the vibration to warn them. You can't get stuck on that though, because if you get stuck on that and you never use an actual shock correction when you have to, then they're going to stop listening to the vibration, because nothing ever happens after that. So if you vibrate and the dog doesn't listen, even if you give him a second chance and you vibrate again and he doesn't listen, you can't just keep vibrating or beeping or whatever your collar feature has, right? You have to correct sometimes, you know. And you can even leash correct or layer it, but there has to be a consequence at times. So I've warned you, you didn't listen, there has to be a consequence. And then the next time that warning is taken more seriously. But there you go. 1, 2, 3 dogs. Pretty much very similar issues. I mean, Frankie's actually, he doesn't require a lot of exercise. I mean, he's super spunky and full of energy, and he'll go a million miles an hour. But he doesn't get worse if he doesn't get exercise. So if you don't have time all the time to do, you know, get him out, he's good for that. He's very chill in his crate. He's very good out. He doesn't get into anything, you know. If they never told me, if I never saw, like if he never, you know, tried to bite me in the shoulder, I would never know. I would never know he had an issue. So if I went somewhere and I adopted him, like, yeah, he's a great dog, and I took him home, I would never know until somebody came over and he bit him, you know. I was hoping he would do this. Instead of laying down in the mud, he's taking himself a snow bath because he really needs it. Oh, you're a dirty bird. You're supposed to be white. I'm not supposed to see you. Oh, where'd he go? He's getting super clean. Where'd you go?